situations where you will absolutely want to throw yourself into the life of the university or the town or the city that you're in, and you're going to want to participate in all sorts of things that are going on in town. But what I want to talk to you now about specifically is avoiding crowds, or at least avoiding unsafe crowds. So what makes a crowd safe or unsafe? If you like sports, you may want to check out a sporting event while you're abroad. Soccer matches are huge in Europe and in Latin America. Basketball may be growing in certain countries. Participating in things like that can be really, really exciting. But understand that in Latin America and in Europe, the crowds can get kind of unruly. People can have a little bit too much to drink, and sometimes they get wild. We always suggest, if you go into a crowded situation, whether it's in a stadium, a rock concert, a sporting venue, that you sit, if you can, near an exit or near the end of an aisle in order to be able to get up and move out quickly if people start to get rowdy and rough. You should also think twice about participating in any kind of political demonstration, or even observing political demonstrations from the inside. So what do I mean by the inside? First of all, in terms of participating, you are a visitor abroad. You are a guest of the country. Even if you are in a country where people have the right of free assembly and the right of free speech, and first of all, bear in mind that that is not always true in some of the countries where our students study, for somebody from that culture to criticize their government is very different than if you participate in an event that is critical of the government or a particular constituent within the government. So be mindful of your role as a guest, and be careful about publicly demonstrating or participating in some type of critical display. But if, let's say you just wanted to watch there's going to be a very important parade going on for gay pride, or for responsible, sustainable environmental behavior, or whatever the case might be. We can understand that you would want to be part of that. We'd understand that you'd want to watch that you'd want to see what people are getting all excited about in your host country. Unfortunately, as would be the case in the United States, political demonstrations can become heated. Inevitably, whatever the cause is of the people who are gathering, they will also draw people who have opposing viewpoints. And sometimes things get heated and people get angry. And when people get angry, sometimes that can lead to violence. The violence may be directly between two people or two factions, but it always has the potential to spill over into bystanders and onlookers. So what we want to make sure is that when you are attracted to some kind of a demonstration or political event, that you're aware of the possibility for things to turn and to get ugly. Again, we would tell you really the best practice is to simply avoid political demonstrations. But if you find yourself caught up in the middle of something that's going on, or you come out to watch a parade or an event that everybody says is a must-do while you're in that location, again, as it would be the case in the stadium example that I just gave you, make sure that you stay on the periphery as much as possible. Don't be in the middle of the group, stay towards the edge. If people start gathering further around you so that you're finding yourself increasingly in the middle, just edge yourself back out towards the edge, so that, again, if things get difficult, it's very easy for you to simply move away from the center of the dissent or conflict. That's an important part of managing group and crowded activities. Another thing to think about is that those are settings, unfortunately, that might draw terrorist activity if, in fact, your country is a country where there have been terrorist events in the past. So if you are in a crowded situation, look around you. Did someone leave a bag or a suitcase or a package unattended? They drop it and walk away. If that's the case, move away from it and tell somebody in a position of authority. If you're on a bus, if you're in the airport, if you're on a train and you see somebody leave something behind, it's so tempting to just pick it up and hand it back to them. You're good people, you're good Samaritans, and we get that impulse. But it's generally better practice to, again, move away from wherever the item has been left, find a person in authority and say, somebody left their package on the train here. If you want to try calling after someone and say, hey, you left your bag, when they're in earshot, that's fine. If it really is a mistake, they'll come back for it. But don't you pick it up and go running after them in case it's something that it shouldn't be.